He never expected that one small encounter could reopen the deepest part of his heart. But sometimes life has a way of surprising us when we least expect it. Imagine a man with everything the world admires: wealth, power, influence, and the freedom to buy anything money could offer. Yet inside, he carried a silence so heavy that even the grandest parties and the brightest lights could not fill it. This man was a millionaire CEO, admired by thousands but truly known by no one. His name was Daniel Hayes. And one evening, in the middle of his loneliness, he met a child whose smile reminded him of someone he had lost forever, someone he thought he could never see again. And that child, in her innocence, would change his life. Friends, before we begin this journey, if you believe that kindness, second chances, and love can heal even the deepest wounds, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel, Everyday Grace Stories. Together we share stories that remind us of the power of love, humanity, and grace. Now let me take you into Daniel's story. The story of how one little girl gave back what life had stolen from him. Daniel Hayes lived in a world of steel and glass, his life measured by quarterly profits and endless contracts. His office sat high above the city skyline, but the higher he climbed in business, the deeper he sank into isolation. Years ago, Daniel had a family. He had a wife, a son, and a dream of growing old surrounded by laughter. But tragedy struck when his wife and child died in a car accident while he was away at a business meeting. The guilt was unbearable. He blamed himself for not being there, for choosing work over family that one night when fate was waiting. Since then, Daniel locked his heart behind walls of stone, burying himself in work to escape the memories that haunted him. To the world he was successful. To himself he was broken. On a cold autumn evening, Daniel was leaving his office, briefcase in hand, when he passed by a small park on the edge of the city. The park was almost empty, except for a little girl sitting alone on a swing. She was maybe 8 years old, with hair falling over her face, clutching a small sketchbook on her lap. Something about her posture, lonely, fragile yet hopeful, pulled him in. Against his usual instinct to keep walking, Daniel stopped. He didn't know why, but he felt drawn to her, as though fate was whispering in his ear. He approached gently, not wanting to frighten her. "Are you waiting for someone?" he asked softly. The girl looked up, her big innocent eyes glistening in the dim park light, and replied, "I'm waiting for my daddy. But he's not coming tonight." Her voice cracked on the last word, and Daniel felt his chest tighten. Those words cut straight into his soul, because once upon a time, there had been a little boy waiting for him too, a boy he never came home to. Daniel sat on the swing beside her. "What's your name?" he asked. She smiled faintly, "Lily." He noticed her sketchbook and asked if he could see what she was drawing. Reluctantly, she opened the pages, showing him colorful drawings of a family, stick figures holding hands, a mother, a father, and a little girl in the middle. "That's my family," Lily explained. "At least how I imagine it. My mom works late and my dad, he left us a long time ago. So I draw them so I don't feel so alone." Her words pierced Daniel's heart. That night, Daniel walked Lily back to her small apartment, where her mother, Anna, was returning from her shift as a nurse. Exhausted, worried, and surprised to see a stranger holding her daughter's hand, Anna was cautious. But Lily quickly explained that Daniel had walked her home from the park. Anna's eyes softened with gratitude but also sadness. She apologized, admitting she sometimes had no choice but to let Lily wait outside until she returned. Daniel said nothing about it, but inside he felt a storm of emotions. He saw in Anna's tired eyes the struggle of a single mother, and in Lily's drawings, the longing of a child for a family that wasn't whole. Daniel couldn't forget them. The next evening, instead of heading straight home to his empty penthouse, he stopped by the park again. And there was Lily, sitting on the swing once more, this time smiling when she saw him. Day by day their encounters grew. She would show him her drawings, ask him questions about life, laugh at his stories, and sometimes just sit in silence with him. And each evening Daniel felt something shift in his heart. But the truth was, Daniel was terrified. Every laugh with Lily reminded him of his own son's laughter. Every drawing she showed him reminded him of the drawings that once hung on his fridge. He wanted to walk away to avoid reopening wounds. Yet something stronger pulled him back each time, the realization that maybe, just maybe, life was offering him another chance to love again, even if in a different way. As weeks passed, Anna noticed the bond growing between Daniel and Lily. First she resisted. She told Daniel plainly, "I don't want my daughter getting attached to someone who might leave. She's been hurt enough." Daniel nodded, knowing her fears were real, because he was afraid of the same thing. But he couldn't walk away anymore. He began to help, picking Lily up after school, helping her with homework, and sometimes even bringing groceries for Anna when her shifts ran long. Slowly, trust began to build. The challenge came when Daniel's board of directors noticed his change. They complained that his focus was slipping, that he was distracted. For years, Daniel had lived for the company, but now, when faced with a choice between another business empire and the fragile bond he was building, he realized where true value lay. He had missed one family by choosing work once before. He would not make the same mistake again. The turning point came one evening when Lily was performing in a small school play. She looked into the audience nervously, searching for a familiar face. Her mom was there, tired but smiling. And then she spotted Daniel, sitting in the second row, clapping proudly as though she were the brightest star in the world. After the play, she ran into his arms and whispered, "When I saw you, it felt like I finally had a daddy again." Tears filled Daniel's eyes. He realized in that moment that while he could never bring back the family he lost, he could still give love to the family in front of him. His grief didn't have to end in emptiness. It could be transformed into something beautiful. Daniel's life changed after that. He didn't just remain a visitor in their lives. Over time he became family. He was there for birthdays, school days, small dinners, and everyday moments that once felt meaningless to him but now meant everything. Anna too began to see in him not just a man with money, but a man who had known loss, pain, and still chose to love again. In their shared brokenness they found healing. And friends, this is the heart of the story. A lonely millionaire CEO, who thought he had lost everything that mattered, discovered that love does not end with tragedy. Sometimes it comes back to us in new forms through new people, if only we have the courage to open our hearts again. So remember this, life may take away what we love most, leaving scars that never truly fade. But those scars are not the end of our story. They are the beginning of something new, if we allow love to enter once more. Daniel met a child who reminded him of his lost family, and in her innocence she gave him back the will to live, to love, and to be more than just a man of wealth. She gave him back his heart. And if this story touched you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel Everyday Grace Stories, and share it with someone who needs to be reminded that hope is never lost. Because sometimes the smallest hands can heal the heaviest hearts.